I'm going to take a quick look at what's under the hood to make all this work, the responsive slide out. Okay. I'm in my code editor, and there's two main files right now that are making this work. And that's going to be the demo.html file. So this is fairly standard. Everybody's aware of the index file or the HTML file, and that's all that this file is doing right here. And then we've also got the responsive slideout, which is the main file that's rendering what we're seeing here, and then also creating the functionality for how that works. There's three main components to this JavaScript file at the moment, and that's going to be the rendering of the HTML, styling the HTML interface, so this is the HTML up here, and it's styling it, and then also the functionality for making all that work. You'll notice here on the left side there's a couple more files, and that's going to be the responsive slideout CSS and also the responsive slideout minified version of the responsive slideout here. So there's the unminified version, and then here's the minified version. The CSS is the unminified version of the CSS that the responsive slideout uses, and that's found inside of the JavaScript file right down here. So this is the unminified version of this. It's going to be in the responsive slideout CSS, and so you can use it where you want to use this manually rather than have jQuery or JavaScript do that for you. Out of the box, it renders the HTML and the CSS from JavaScript, but you can go ahead and extract that out so that you can have a bit more control if you want to do it that way over your CSS, or just have them split up. So I'll go to close this out, and I'll focus on the responsive slideout. And so we've got three main components. That's the HTML, the CSS, the styling, and then the functionality. And right down here, we'll begin the HTML rendering. So this entire code block right down here. All right. And then the CSS will start right here. Now you can remove those, so you can comment this out, or remove those, or one or the other, and the HTML and CSS JavaScript objects down here. You can just remove those altogether and bring those in manually yourself if you prefer that. So let's go ahead and run through the responsive slideout right quick. It's not a lot going on here. So here's the main block. Alright, so starting from the top, I'm going to go and initialize the slide out and the search field functionalities. So that's what we're seeing here, and then also here. Alright, so it starts with a button, which is the hamburger button. And we've got comments here, so it's going to be easier to read and get around, so you can make the changes that you need. So the button will go ahead and trigger just about everything. So I'll click on this hamburger button there. And then it'll go ahead and toggle that left slide out. This is all being done for the most part by CSS. So we've got lock page scroll and unlock page scroll functionality that'll kick in when you click on that hamburger button, and the panel slides out. That'll lock the page in place. You'll see that right here, so that you cannot scroll on the right side. That'll prevent some of the jerkiness or jumping around of elements on mobile phones. And it'll also put the focus here on the left-hand side scroll for your menu items or your content. And then it's also going to render a dark page overlay, which is what we see right over here on the right-hand side. You notice it kind of grays out a bit, so if I undo that, it kind of comes back to clear, and then we've got a little bit of a dark overlay here. This entire dark overlay, you click on that when the panel's open, it'll go ahead and bring you back out. And again, it remembers where you left in the scroll, or the position on the page that you left the scroll at. There we go. And you can test this on your phone as well. Alright, and you see that right down here for the darkened page overlay, and then the page scroll locking right down here. Alright, and then the toggle search field, which is what we're seeing right there. Alright, you can find all this information here at the GitHub, responsive slideout. It's got the minify file in there, the CSS, gives your basic information, and you can get further information on the wiki. Here, this will be updated as needed. But if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, also get in touch. Other than that, you would go ahead and extend or customize, modify this slide out as needed.